What is going on, guys? Dip and Diesel back. Today I'm going to give you guys kind of an outline of what you guys need to know when buying a new second-gen Cummins or any diesel. This can apply to any diesel truck that you're looking to buy. You know, diesel trucks nowadays, at least here in California, they are ridiculously expensive. A second-gen Cummins like this, well, if it's all stock and clapped out, it can probably go for $15,000. $15,000 is a lot of money for a 20-year-old truck. Today I'm going to give you guys some tips and tricks when you're going to look for a diesel truck that you want to buy, whether it be a second-gen Cummins or any diesel of your choosing. Now, the number one thing that I can stress is when you go and look at a truck that you want to buy, don't have your mindset on, I want to buy this truck, I want it, I'm taking it home today. Because with that mindset, if the truck is dog shit, then you're still gonna want to be like, I don't care, I want that truck anyway. And don't have that, you'll end up with a bad truck and it'll give you a lot of problems. So don't have the mindset, there's a truck that I want, I'm gonna go look at it and I'm gonna buy it. Do not walk into the sale with that mindset. But first off, let's talk about the outside of the truck, the body, the frame, and things like that. If you guys are wanting a super clean truck, the first thing you guys got to look for is, dents on the truck. If you guys are in the north, there's going to be a lot of rust on your frame, so you want to check that out too. You don't want a rusty ass frame that, pieces of metal are falling off. That could be really disastrous if you're driving down the road and something breaks just because of rust. Try to avoid rust as much as possible. I know some of you guys are going to have it. California trucks, we ain't got no rust on my frame. But yeah, try to get away from as much rust as you can. That'll make your pickup truck last a lot longer. You won't have to do as much maintenance as far as, sanding down the frame and painting it so it doesn't rust even more. Dents on the body is another thing. Dents could indicate that it was in a wreck. It could have a salvage title, so you always want to check the Carfax as well. You can also check the VIN number and it'll give you some good information as well. Two other things you guys want to, take a look at when you go and look at the truck: your tire wear. If one side is wore a little bit more than the other on the specific tire, you could have an alignment issue, you could have suspension issues. Just take a look at all your ball joints and everything underneath the truck and see if everything looks normal. If things kind of look, bad, you could be spending a lot more money to fix it once you buy the truck. So always want to take a look around the truck and see if you see anything bad, any dents, rust, suspension issues, and just things like that. So once you checked out the body and frame, you want to pop the hood and check the engine out itself. One good thing to look out for when buying an older diesel truck, 2001, this is almost 20 years old, coming up next year, probably this year because they sell the years before, a year ahead. But anyway, this truck is almost 20 years old, and trucks that have been used really hard, it all depends on what kind of truck. If the truck is, grandpa owned, it's probably not going to have this issue. But if it was a work truck, then you guys want to check for blow-by. Blow-by is one of the things you can check right then and there. All you got to do is turn the key, take the oil cap off, and flip it upside down on top of where it screws in. If that oil cap is blowing off from the blow-by, you can actually put your hand there and feel if air is coming up out of the oil cap hole. If that cap is blowing off, then you don't even bother with the truck, because it's going to cause a lot more problems in the long run. Say 6 months from you buying that truck, it's fine. All of a sudden, you're getting a lot more problems from that blow-by, and it's going to cost you a lot more money. Another thing that you can check right away is on a second-gen Cummins, most of the programmers tap into the injection pump. So if you hop up in the engine bay, you can check the wire that you're supposed to tap for the programmer. And if someone says, oh, it's never been tuned, never been hot rodded, if you go and check that wire, you'll know that it's been tuned, and you know that they're lying out of their ass. And then just a couple simple other tests you can do is if it has any starting issues. It could be, the fuel pump, the injection pump, stuff like that. Anywhere noises when you start the vehicle, it should sound like a diesel. It shouldn't make any other noise than what a diesel sounds like, Moving on to asking the owner about any replacement parts, any aftermarket parts. If the owner of the vehicle is sounding kind of sketchy with his answers, like he's kind of beating around the bush of some things, I would just stop right there. He's obviously not being trustworthy about the vehicle, and you could get screwed on something that he's not telling you. He could be lying about something. So if the vehicle looks good, the vehicle checks out with everything that you look at, but he's kind of just, you know, beating around the bush of some things that could be major, whatever it could be, whatever your question is, and he's beating around the bush, kind of take that in consideration before buying the truck, because you can always come back another day and purchase the truck. Always think about a deal before you make the deal. I know you can go into the store and buy a pack of gum, you're not going to think about that, but if you're making a big purchase, you know, $15,000, you guys are buying it for the first time, always kind of think about it. I'm sure the guy isn't going to sell it in a day or two unless it's for a really good price, you know, like 5,000 bucks. That could go quick depending on where you live. 5,000 bucks here would go like that. So, but yeah, you don't have to purchase the vehicle right then and there. You can always sit back and think about it for a day or two, and then message the guy back and be like, hey, I want to come look at it again, and then you can buy it then. The next thing you're going to do is take it for a test drive. You always want to make sure the transmission is shifting fine. There's no slipping, there's no, you know, hard shifts or anything like that. Everything should be smooth, smooth, smooth. Second gens, they're horrible with the transmission, so if someone has beat on the truck, their transmission is obviously going to be in worse shape compared to a grandpa truck that has been sitting in the garage for the last 10 years and it barely has 80,000 miles on it. So you always want to make sure that the transmission is shifting fine, because that could cost you a lot of money. You buy a truck that has a bad transmission, costs you another 4,000 up to like 7,000 for a belt transmission. If you go that route, it may be a little cheaper if you buy, you know, just a rebuilt transmission. But you're trying to save money on a truck that you buy for the first time. You don't want to go buy a truck for $10,000–$15,000 and then go and have to drop another $4,000 or $5,000 for it to run. When you go on that test drive, you're making sure that the transmission is fine. You want to make sure that steering isn't all messed up. You can also look underneath the truck and see if the ball joints on the steering coming down from the pitman arm are all fine, and if the steering is wandering, if you're pulling to one side, it could be an alignment issue, so you're gonna have to spend money to go get that realigned. Like I said, with a tire, you can tell if it's wearing on one side. You can also tell that it needs an alignment. As your test drive, just kind of get a feel for it. Accelerating right, is it, you know, shifting right, and things like that. Finally, if you guys are buying a diesel truck for the first time, I know I talked about kind of more towards second gens, but this can work for any diesel. Just look at the truck itself. If there's any problems, you know, check everything out. Do your research first. Say you're buying a 2004 Power Stroke. Go on the internet, type in 2004 Power Stroke or whatever truck you guys want, and just type in common issues. I'm sure you'll find a whole bunch of websites where a lot of people have common issues with their truck. Always bring that up to the owner and see if he had any problems with it. If he didn't, then you could possibly be looking at having to repair that in the future. But just be smart with your purchase. Don't purchase something that's going to give you a lot of problems. Unless it's a project truck and you're not spending that much money on it, then it could have a beat up truck, blown motor, blown trans, whatever. But this is for people buying a truck for the first time that are going to be driving it, going to be using it. You want a good truck, and if the truck isn't good when you first go to look at it, don't buy it. So that's going to be it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys take some of these tips and tricks into consideration when buying a brand new diesel truck, new to you diesel truck. And don't make a bad financial decision without checking something over. You don't want to go there, look at the truck, just do a little walk around, not even drive it, and be like, okay, hand over $15,000 cash. Don't do that. Check everything out and make sure everything is looking good. If you guys have any tips and tricks that will help others buy a truck, leave it in the comments below where it's easily found, so people coming to this video can read up on more things to look for and make a smart decision. That's gonna be it. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you guys are new, and I'll catch you in the next video. I'm Diesel, out.